For most of human history, nobody had a job. No alarm clock, no boss, no Monday morning. And researchers who studied the last remaining hunter-gatherer tribes on Earth found something that should make every working person on the planet stop and think. They only worked 3 to 4 hours a day. 3 to 4 hours. Then they stopped and spent the rest of their time doing exactly what they wanted. What they did with those hours built civilization. And we gave it all up without realizing what we lost. Think about your average day. You wake up to an alarm. You work for 8 or 9 hours. You come home exhausted. You eat. You watch something. You sleep. And then you do it all again. Now imagine your entire life looked completely different. Imagine waking up with no alarm, spending a few hours finding food, and then having the entire rest of the day completely free. Free to talk, to create, to rest, to explore. That was the default human experience for hundreds of thousands of years. And the things ancient humans did in those free hours will genuinely surprise you. Because some of the most important things humans ever created came from people with nothing to do. In the 1960s, an anthropologist named Marshall Sahlins did something nobody had done before. He went to live with the Hadza tribe in Tanzania, one of the last true hunter-gatherer communities on Earth. People living exactly the way humans lived for hundreds of thousands of years. He watched them. He timed them. He recorded everything. And what he found was so unexpected that when he published it, other researchers refused to believe it. The Hadza worked an average of 3 to 4 hours a day to meet all their food needs. Not 8 hours. Not 6. 3 to 4. After that, they stopped. They sat together. They talked. They told stories around the fire. They played with their children. They made music with simple instruments. They drew. They carved. They decorated things. Sahlins called them the original affluent society, not because they had money or possessions, but because they had the one thing modern humans never seem to have enough of: time. Completely free time. Every single day. But what did ancient humans actually do in all that free time? Because this is where it gets genuinely fascinating. Around 40,000 years ago, something happened in human history that researchers call the creative explosion. Suddenly, humans started making things they did not need for survival. Cave paintings, carvings, jewelry, musical instruments, not tools for hunting, not weapons. Art. In a cave in Germany, researchers found a small carved figure, a lion-headed human body, carved from mammoth ivory. It took an estimated 400 hours of work to make. 400 hours. Nobody carved that to survive. They carved it because they had the time and the desire to make something beautiful. In the same region, they found flutes, made from vulture bone and mammoth ivory, the oldest musical instruments ever found. 40,000 years old. Researchers reconstructed one and played it. It produced a full range of musical notes. Someone sat down 40,000 years ago with nothing to do and invented music, not because they had to, because they were free. Now, here is the part that should genuinely make you angry. Researchers who study modern work culture have found something shocking. The 8-hour workday was not invented because it was healthy. It was not invented because it was productive. It was invented in 1817 by a Welsh factory owner named Robert Owen. His slogan was 8 hours labor, 8 hours recreation, 8 hours rest. He designed it for factory workers standing at machines, not for human beings living full lives. And yet, that same 8-hour structure designed for a factory in 1817 is still how most of the world organizes every single day. But here is the wait what moment. Multiple studies from Microsoft Stanford and the University of Melbourne have found the same thing. Productivity drops sharply after 5 or 6 hours of focused work. After that, people are sitting at their desks, but their brains have essentially stopped, which means for most of the working world, 2 to 3 hours of every working day are completely wasted. Ancient hunter-gatherers worked 3 to 4 genuinely productive hours. Modern workers work 8 hours, but are only productive for 5 or 6. The people with no jobs were more efficient than us, every single day. But here is what most people miss about this story. Ancient humans did not just have more free time. They used that free time in a way that modern science now says is essential for a healthy brain. They did nothing. Not scrolling, not watching, not consuming. Just sitting, thinking, letting the mind wander. Neuroscientists call this the default mode network. It is the part of your brain that activates when you are not focused on any task, when you are just sitting by a fire, looking at the sky, doing nothing in particular. And researchers at Harvard discovered that this network is responsible for some of the most important mental processes humans have: creativity, empathy, self-awareness, problem-solving. The brain does not rest when you do nothing. It does its most important work. Ancient humans spent hours every day in this state naturally. Modern humans almost never do. We fill every spare moment with a phone or a screen. And researchers now believe this is one of the reasons anxiety, depression, and burnout are at the highest levels ever recorded. We stopped doing nothing, and our brains never recovered. 40,000 years ago, a human being sat down with nothing to do. No alarm clock waiting for them in the morning, no emails to answer, no meetings, just time. And in that time, they carved a lion-headed figure from ivory. They played music on a bone flute. They painted animals on cave walls, so detailed and so alive that they are still breathtaking today. They told stories around a fire that passed knowledge down through hundreds of generations. Everything that makes us human, art, music, storytelling, creativity, came from people with nothing to do. The next time you feel guilty for doing nothing, remember that doing nothing was the default state of the human mind for most of history. And every great thing we ever created came from people who had enough of it. If you think that is strange, wait until you hear this. Ancient Romans had fast food restaurants, and the menus are still readable today. What archaeologists discovered completely changes the way you think about the ancient world. Watch this next.